In Star Citizen, for years there's been a widely settled notion by the community that piracy doesn't exist in the game's current build.
Missing mechanics,
no mention by the developers,
misunderstanding of the game's direction, and many other reasons have contributed to their belief of this notion.
Until now, at least.
We in Mongrel Squad are among the few that had begun the campaign for piracy development in Star Citizen many years ago.
When all you could really do is capture someone's ship in Arena Commander.
From then, all the way to now.
The game in its current state has allowed us and other pirate groups to flourish.
As a result of our thoughts and message, in the last 8 months,
we've noticed many more players have been raising the black,
posting content,
starting their own orgs, and shattering that very notion.
We are overjoyed to see how far this gameplay has come,
and the strides the community has taken to bring it this far.
In an effort to take it even further in development,
and to breed more players that are keen and going on the account,
we feel a duty to share the skills, experience, and knowledge that we've gained over the years with you,
so that you can start doing piracy right.
And thus,
welcome to the Mongrel Piracy Academy.
in this episode, we're going to go over the fundamental basic equipment used every day for piracy in Star Citizen. I'm going to be talking about the use of EMP and QED ships, and all the critical things you need to know about each of them. We're also going to be looking at your personal equipment that you carry on your character when conducting piracy operations. These are the essential tools of the trade, and we're going to be starting with arguably the most important. Quantum enforcement devices, aka QEDs, are designed to disrupt a ship's ability to quantum travel. QEDs can be used to conduct interdiction operations against other ships. You may have experienced the effect of a QED when pulled out of quantum travel by either NPC pirates or security forces. Currently, there are only 2 ships accessible to players that have the QED capability: the Cutlass Blue and the RSI Mantis. The RSI Mantis is a fast, highly maneuverable ship whose purpose is quantum enforcement. The QED device on the Mantis has 2 modes: the snare and the dampener. The Cutlass Blue is a medium fighter intended for paramilitary police forces out on the frontiers of the Star Citizen universe. The ship uses a Y-Tech QED that only has dampening capability, so it doesn't possess the ability to snare another ship unlike the Mantis. While the snare and dampener devices are made for the same purpose and share the same functionality, each of them have their place and times to use and nuances that make them different. The dampener is designed to prevent ships from being able to spool and calibrate their quantum drive to any destination. Outside of the dampening radius, ships are able to use their quantum drive as usual. The QED dampener creates a bubble around your ship that is 4 kilometers across, meaning the dampening radius from your ship is 2 kilometers. So if you're chasing a target and you keep your QED within 2 kilometers of the ship, that target isn't going anywhere, unless you're flying through a green zone. Any area that has an armistice zone also has an invisible green zone that will automatically shut the QED down upon entry. The green zone for the dampener kicks in around the 4.5 kilometer mark, and there will be no warning that you are about to cross the green zone until after you cross it. While the dampener has the ability to prevent a ship from entering quantum travel, the snare has the ability to rip a ship out of quantum travel. The snare requires a charge-up time and has a lengthy cooldown before it can be used again. When the snare is initiated, it creates a bubble around your ship that is 40 kilometers across, meaning it has a 20 kilometer radius to the ship, and it will rip any ship out of quantum travel that travels through it. The snare also has dampening capabilities, so once your target gets caught in it, it won't be able to re-enter quantum travel unless it escapes over 20 kilometers from the Mantis. The snare is also affected by armistice green zones, with its use restricted within 30 kilometers of any area that has an armistice zone. Now when it comes to your weapon loadout on both of these ships, the best thing for you to do is outfit them with lethal weapons, because more than likely, the rest of your interdiction team will either be kitted with non-lethal distortions or a combination of lethal and non-lethal. Laser repeaters are one of the better options because you can assist your team in taking shield faces down without damaging the actual ship. One of the other devices that is critical for piracy operations is the EMP. An EMP is an explosion that deals large amounts of distortion damage with a distance falloff. Using an EMP and distortion weapons are a key component of conducting piracy if your intent is to not destroy your target. EMPs and other distortion weapons are non-lethal, but enough distortion damage can cause major component failure in a ship, resulting in a complete shutdown of the ship. Currently, there are 4 ships and 1 ground vehicle capable of using EMP attacks against other targets. These ships are the Anvil Hawk, the Aegis Saber Raven, the Aegis Vanguard Sentinel, and the Mongrel Squad favorite and highly recommended, the Aegis Avenger Warlock. The Tumbril Cyclone AA is the only ground vehicle that has an EMP device. Each of these ships have different EMP sizes, with the Hawk and Raven having a size 2, and the Sentinel and Warlock having a size 4. Each EMP has a maximum range of effect, but the most important thing to know is that with every ship you have to get as close as possible to the ship when you fire your EMP. We recommend getting within 500 meters before firing it because desync can cause many problems, especially at high speeds. There are several different weapon loadouts that can accompany the EMP, but we recommend using distortion repeaters and scatterguns for stripping the shields on a target because at least one shield face has to be down for the EMPs to be effective. And it also does non-lethal damage to the target. Enough distortion damage from the scatterguns and repeaters to the hull of the target will completely fry the components like the power plants and the coolers. Distortion weapons are also non-lethal to players, although they can cause the player to be thrown around, which can eventually lead to death from fall damage. However, using full distortion loadouts come at the risk of your EMP's ships not being able to defend itself when it gets attacked. The use of lethal laser repeaters on your loadout can make a ship capable of dogfighting as well as disabling a target. You can even combine them to get the best of both worlds. Now, armed with this knowledge, you'll be able to make better informed decisions on how to employ your distortion capabilities when conducting piracy. Having the right gear on your character is just as important as what's on your ships. The other half of piracy involves FPS and ground tactics. Everything from the right weapons, the right armor, to backpack space, and the right gadgets needed for the task at hand. It's important to ensure that the armor that you wear can protect you against the weapons your target may have, and the harsh elements of the planets and moons that you'll be hunting on. Using heavy armor is important for boarding actions, as it can be the difference between winning and losing in a close quarter fight. You normally don't have to sprint as far, so being able to move fast isn't as important. You also want enough personal storage space to take or transport a prize to the place where you sell. In the current Alpha 3.13 patch, the 2 armors that are most commonly used for piracy are the Pembroke and Novikov mining suits. They have the highest heat, cold, and damage resistance out of every other suit and can carry more items than any other armor in the game. Just be aware though, this will not be the case in the future when features like personal inventories and physical backpacks are implemented into the game. Eventually, you'll have a lot more options to explore in regards to armor and storage as the game progresses. The tractor beam attachment on the multi-tool is an essential part in a pirate's toolkit because it has more than one use. It can make collection of boxes from a destroyed cargo ship significantly easier and quicker, and you can move around faster with a box in your tractor beam rather than the slower walking speed when carrying heavier boxes. It can also be used to pull yourself into hard-to-reach places a lot quicker when you're in EVA. These are important to keep around because some missions in this game give you delivery boxes and crypto keys to transport from one place to another, but we use them for something different. The missions give these items markers on your HUD that can be seen from anywhere, meaning that if we can sneak it onto a target ship, we have the ability to track the target everywhere it goes. This isn't the only way you can track a target, and we'll be going over it in later episodes. When it comes to the weapons you carry, high volume firepower that allows for quick follow-up shots like shotguns, LMGs, and SMGs work best here. It's very rare that you'll need to use a sniper rifle, especially if your focus is shipboardings. Your weapon attachments need to allow for quick ADS movement to get shots on target first. The Underslug flashlight has a dazzle feature when viewed that can obstruct the target's ability to get a headshot on you. So that's about it for this episode of the Mongrel Pirate Academy. We covered only the fundamentals for each of these topics because since it's an alpha, all of the finer details are always subject to change in any future patch. In the next episode, we'll be going over the things you want to look for when choosing your pirate ship, talking about radar, stealth, firepower, and much more. And in later episodes, We're going to talk about the tactics you can employ during a hit, such as how to track a target, when to strike, how to take ships by force, how to move part as a team, negotiating with your target, and everything else you need to know to make it work for you. Piracy is not easy to do, and it takes a team effort, with everyone working hard together to achieve a successful outcome. The reality is that you're going to have failures. You're not going to be making hundreds of thousands of credits on every single hit. You're going to get called names, and you have to accept that people don't like what we do. But if you're serious about becoming a pirate in Star Citizen, then you have to remember, pirates take what they want, and they don't wait for permission. It's not perfect, but if you have a team and the drive to push you through multiple failures, which you will have, then you can make piracy work for you. I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.